Hi, it's Alice, and I'm back with a market update for the Victoria Real Estate Board for February 2025. Let's go. So for sales in February, we had 528 properties sell, and that's an increase of roughly 12% year over year. So it's a strong start to the spring market, but as you know, March and April tend to be the real showboats. So we'll see how it goes as we progress farther along into spring, but right now it's a good start. New listings, we had 1,154 new listings come to the market in February, and that was an increase of approximately 6%. So I'm sure you're seeing news where new listings are exploding. We might get there. We'll see. For active listings, we had 2,630 active listings on the market at the end of February, and that was about 11% higher than last year at the same time. For single-family home sales, we had a 4.5% increase in sales year over year, and that was 234 homes sold. So a good month as far as activity, and also positive note on the benchmark home price in Victoria Core. We're sitting at $1.309 million, which was an increase year over year of 3.7%. And also, if you're looking at the average, we were sitting at 1.312 million, which was a 4% increase. So I would say it's safe to say roughly a 4% increase in the home price for Victoria Core single family dwellings. And of course, that's positive news if you are a seller, but if you're a buyer, maybe not so much. But do anticipate that as we head into the spring market, we tend to see the higher prices come at this time anyways. So let's look at condos. Condos in Victoria actually had a pretty good month in February. So the sales activity was up 26% year over year. And that was, I think, 192 units sold. So pretty good. Things are moving, which is fantastic. The benchmark home price for condos in the Victoria Core, not up this month. It's down 0.5%, but that's sitting at $551,000. I mean, they're not known to fluctuate as much as houses, so there's that. But the average was quite different. So the average condo price is $659,000 in the Victoria Core, and that is up 10.5% versus last year. So there's quite a spread there between the average and the benchmark price, but overall, good activity. Things are moving. It's just, the benchmark home price is kind of a bit sticky. You've probably been seeing in the news that there's stories about surging listings and, basically just listings flooding the market, namely in Ontario, though I will say it's not so much happening here, but if it were to happen, I think you'd see it more so in March and April, but it's definitely picking up. The buying activity, I would say, is not a flurry. It's still somewhat stagnant. But what I am noticing in a lot of the realtor message boards is that people are having these listings on the market and then they're falling apart multiple times. So you have an offer, they have subject to financing, subject to property inspection, and they're collapsing. So I think people are kind of theorizing that financing is the issue mainly because mortgage brokers aren't doing super strong pre-approvals for their buyers. So I'm not sure what the case is, but it's a common complaint that a listing would have 2 up to 3 collapse deals before actually getting one that goes pending. So yeah. Well, no, one of the common themes that I saw also pop up was that people were saying that if an agent is desperate and they find a buyer through like an online lead or something, that they're just tossing them in the car and taking them shopping without a proper pre-approval. And I could definitely see that because I've had people try to do that with me. And I'm kind of a stickler on you need to actually be able to buy the property before wasting the seller's time. But that could be it too. So if you are selling your property and you're having all these collapse deals, it could be that. Not much you can do about it, unfortunately, unless you want to scare off all the people who want to look at your property because you don't know who's who and what kind of approval they have. But just something to be aware of. So in the economy in general, it's all about the tariffs. It's basically a lot of unknowns. If you're looking at studies, though, say the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, they did a study on the 41 biggest cities in Canada and who had the most exposure to being affected by the tariffs. And so number 1 is St. John's, New Brunswick. And then number 2 is Calgary. And both notably, they export crude. And New Brunswick has the seafood and Alberta has beef. So there you go, which is terrible for them. And I hope that they don't fare too badly. But Victoria was number 36 on the list and Vancouver was number 32. So looking on our side, we could hope that we're not too badly affected by those tariffs. And Mainly what we'd probably see is the home prices on new builds go up. You can see articles from the Canadian Home Builders Association discussing this and how if the retaliatory tariffs affect the construction materials, it could cause costs to rise. The sentiments of seeing possibly new builds rising in cost is also shared with our partners in the South. And basically, so the US imports a lot from Canada and from Mexico for building materials and also from China for fixtures for new builds, right? So lights, etc. And so they have the same concerns. We'll see how it shakes out, what happens, but again, they might see the very same thing happening. You'll also notice if you look up news articles in the States, their market is very close to ours, where they're having low sales and skyrocketing listings as well. So we have a lot in common, those guys. But the job market is the other biggest variable that I see coming, and that I think would have the biggest effect on if we have a really hot market or just a very slow and stable market. Looking at a study from RBC, we have the worst job market outlook in 7 years. So yes, the job vacancies are at a low that we haven't seen since 2017. So that's what we're facing is job instability. That's the biggest thing that's going to affect the market right now is, well, interest rates, but also if the interest rates are low, but your job is at risk, you're still not going to buy a house. So it's kind of a balance between those two things, but I'm not quite sure how we're going to shake out. I do think, again, listings will climb, yes. And of course, people will buy, but as I've been saying, it's a lot of buyers that have been waiting and that they need to buy. But I think people who are kind of like, it would be nice to buy, I think that they will sit and see how things shake out throughout the spring market, but we will see. We'll just have to go through it. Anyways, that's it for me. I think, yeah, we've covered everything. We'll come back next month and see how the tariffs have affected our lives. Who knows? It's a surprise. But anyways, I am going to go work on my beehive now. I have bees coming from New Zealand at the end of March, and I need to prepare for them. And my main hive, they lived. They survived. I did a really good job taking care of them, so I'm just going to take credit for that. So yeah, if you want to be my friend, I will give you lots of honey this year because I think it's going to be a good year for me. And yeah, other than that, I'm volunteering a couple days from now at Wild Ark, and we saved a little saw-whet owl the other day, who's like a little 6-inch owl, and he was released, and they have some bald eagles at the center now, so I might have a raptor experience in a couple days. We'll see. Anyways, so I hope you have some fun stuff planned for March, and we'll see you again in about a month, okay? Bye.